Good evening, I'm Mario Bosque. Is the city known for just occasional Stranger Things now? Well, this one probably tops them all.
Netflix's Stranger Things final season is just weeks away from coming out. But in the meantime, Stranger Things pop-up radio station is now open, and Angela had to check it out.
It was definitely cool, getting to see all the Stranger Things new clothes and what's coming up for this season.
Gina stepped inside WSQK to see what it was all about.
I know they had a photo booth, which was fun, and they also had the claw machine of the little Care Bears, and they were so cute, but we didn't win any. But other people did, so it's not rigged.
She, like many visitors here today, got a free Stranger Things complimentary poster, but there's a chance to win even more if you're lucky. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in West Village.
Wednesday's time, 8:31. Let's get you where you need to go with Kelly Dillon.
A mess in the Bronx. Eastbound Bruckner into East Tremont Ave. A crash takes out the two left lanes. It is bumper to bumper. Then on the westbound side, as you make your way into the Bronx River Parkway, a separate accident here now closing a lane. The northbound Deegan's at a standstill into 138th Street. Right lane construction work here setting up. In Queens, bumper to bumper on the westbound Grand Central as a crash at Jewel Ave clears up from the two right lanes. The southbound Van Wyck into Atlantic Ave. Stalled car in the right lane, also backing up traffic through the Kew Gardens interchange tonight. The BQE in Brooklyn at a standstill still tonight both ways into Atlantic Avenue. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Getting to the outbound George, at a 25-minute wait. Inbound, they just let tonight's oversized vehicles across the upper level. So in the meantime, for the next few minutes, lower deck, the better option. Looking all right now at both the Lincoln and Holland, and we have numerous cancellations at LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark Airport. So check your airline app for the latest info. Kelly Dillon, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check of the AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Matt Benz.
For tonight, breezy early on, then a few showers for the overnight. Cloudy, low 54. Plenty of clouds to start the day tomorrow. Perhaps a shower or two early. Then some sunshine returning into the afternoon. Should be a nice second half of the day with a high 64. Clouds will thicken up again for tomorrow night, low of 50. Then a damp day in store for Sunday with occasional rain and drizzle, especially for the midday and afternoon. Mainly cloudy with a high 61. A shower around for Monday early, but it's all about the cool down coming our direction. Breezy for Mondays. Clouds break for some sunshine. Highs near 50. We're in the 40s heading into Tuesday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Matt Benz on New York's weather station, 1010 wins 92.3 FM.
A heads up, some city streets to be closed for the 2025 Veterans Day Parade this coming Tuesday. The city hosting hundreds of thousands of vets marking 250 years of Army, Marine Corps, and Navy service. Route 5th Avenue between 25th and 46th. Keep it here on 1010 wins for the latest in traffic and transit on the ones. You don't usually connect golf and Yankee Stadium? Think again.
There are the experienced golfers, and then there's James.
Are you a major golfer, like obsessive major golfer?
Maybe once a year, so no. So this could go very wrong. We'll see.
We're here at Upper Deck Golf, hitting those drives from the 200 level onto designated greens in the outfield. Hit from the top of the bleachers, then try a putting green inside. It's Yankee Stadium like you've never seen it, says John from Milburn.
I'm used to it being very loud, but it was nice to drive in and find parking on the street. So, I'll take that as a win.
Julia Papa, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
The event continues tomorrow. Well, all he wanted was a swimming pool in his backyard. He got that and more. A man in France wound up swimming in gold, digging up around $800,000 worth of gold treasure. Authorities decided since it did not come from an archaeological site, well, he gets to keep the loot in the eastern French town. Among the find, 5 gold bars, numerous coins and plastic bags, and they were determined not to have been stolen but melted down at a nearby refinery. How it all wound up there, still a mystery. Move over. Sherlock Holmes is a new detective with a nose for mystery.
2-year-old Splash is believed to be the only cadaver otter in the world. Martin County Sheriff John Budenseek says Splash has been trained to find human remains underwater.
We're going back to the basics of using an animal to do what they do best, and that's to go in their own environment and detect things that don't belong there.
The sheriff invited law enforcement from across Florida to train with Splash. Michael Hatzel with Peace River Search and Rescue was impressed.
We're going to need another otter to help with the call volume.
And that's what the otter had to say. OpenAI now facing some lawsuits.
The lawsuits were filed on behalf of 6 adults and 1 teenager, a 17-year-old who asked the AI tool about the most effective way to tie a noose and how long he would be able to live without breathing. The plaintiffs claim that OpenAI released ChatGPT-4 even though it had been warned by those within the company that the chatbot was psychologically, dangerously manipulative to users. The Social Media Victims Law Center and the Tech Justice Law Project filed the suits alleging wrongful death, assisted suicide, involuntary manslaughter, and negligence. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good evening, 56 degrees at 8:40. I'm Mario Bosquez. Here's what's happening. New York steps in where Snap Fed action stopped. This is hundreds of flights grounded amid the shutdown. A Bronx man arrested as a suspect in connection with the kidnap, rape of a teen girl. Authorities say there was enough fentanyl to kill 1.5 million on Long Island after a huge raid. Grammy nods are out and there's history being made. AccuWeather, cloudy, few showers overnight, low 54 degrees. Winds use time 8:41. Let's get you where you need to go with Kelly Dillon.
A mess in the Bronx on the eastbound Bruckner at East Tremont Avenue tonight. 2 left lanes out with a crash. It is bumper to bumper, plus a separate crash of the westbound side right past the Bronx River Parkway, knocking out a lane here. Also bumper to bumper delays through this area. The northbound Deegan picking up at 138th Street. Construction work in the right lane, backing up traffic to the RFK. In Queens tonight, the southbound side of the Van Wyck at a standstill heading into Atlantic Ave. Stalled cars in the right lane, backing up traffic through the Kew Gardens Interchange. The westbound Grand Central into Jewel Avenue, an accident here has been cleared and delays starting to ease up. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three in Nassau County tonight. We're moving all right along the LIE. No trouble to report on the northern or southern state parkways. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Outbound George Upper Deck, still about a 25-minute backup. Inbound, no delays at the tolls. It is quiet. We're looking okay both ways at the Lincoln and Holland. Picking up at the Bronx-bound Throgs Neck Bridge on the Queens side. Elena construction work much better on the Whitestone Bridge instead. Kelly Dillon, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Snap benefits should be snapping back for the remainder of November this month in time for Thanksgiving, but still uncertain beyond that in the meantime. What's going to happen? Well, New Jersey businesses are stepping in.
As the government shutdown is still ongoing, SNAP is back in New Jersey. And here in the city, Governor Hochul says we could see it restored by Sunday. A federal appeals court has ordered that the Trump administration fully fund SNAP for the month of November. But leading up to this announcement at Roman Gourmet in Maplewood, the owner, Vinny Lofredo, has been giving out free slices and soda to anyone with a SNAP card to keep families fed.
You see people are just, they're struggling. It's tough. And I realize what people are going through.
He says the response has been overwhelming and people are coming in thankful that someone is giving back. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
More than just planes, people are parked at area airports.
Here at Terminal 4, I definitely noticed dozens of people laying on the ground, sleeping or slumped in a chair as their flights have been impacted. Phil just got in from the West Coast waiting for a connecting flight.
Well, do you understand why they are cutting, to keep you safe? I mean, you do accept the fact that you may have to wait a little longer just to be safe? I mean,
I'd rather do that than not be safe, so yeah, whatever it takes. It's above my pay grade. I hope so.
This guy had a pretty brief conversation with me saying all of this, politicians to blame.
All 535 of them, 435 in the House and 100 in the Senate, they need to go without pay.
It goes without saying, you better check probably 5 times before you come to the airport and find out what's up with your flight. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins, 92.3 FM at JFK.
Total cancellations in the U.S. over 1,000. The U.S. did cancel the airlines about that many flights and more due to the shutdown. American, United, Delta, three largest, all have said they believe they will be able to accommodate most of the impacted passengers. Meantime, how to unlock the chokehold the shutdown has on the nation, amid Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer offering an olive branch of sorts in the form of negotiating tools.
The offer from Minority Leader Chuck Schumer was to drop the Democrats' filibuster of a government funding bill if the GOP would agree to a one-year extension of expiring subsidies for plans sold on the health insurance exchanges.
We need Republicans to just say yes.
The top Republicans swiftly rejected the proposal, with Majority Leader John Thune calling it a non-starter. GOP leaders have been firm that there won't be any negotiation over the expiring Obamacare tax credits until the shutdown ends.
Thune says he's likely to keep the Senate in session this weekend for the first time since the shutdown began, an effort to apply pressure and resolve the standoff. Keep it here with us as we track the latest developments. As flights are chopped in our area, perhaps chopper service is the way to go. One local company has a pilot program to Westchester. Telling us all about it, CEO of Blade, Rob Wiesenthal, telling 1010 Wins.
I think you're going to see a lot of people at the end of the week where you have, especially in the summer where it's trying to get out of the city. During the week we spoke to those who live in Westchester, and they say on Thursdays and Fridays, they're kind of dreading that trip back.
This amounts to about a 12-minute ride. The manhunt for a rape suspect, that goes on.
Every cop in the city is being told to look out for this suspected rapist. They have his picture from a nearby laundromat.
It used to be the safest, area over here, but this is really shocking.
Sources say the suspect saw the girl in the building at the Cooper Park houses, stopped her and made a demand before raping her in the stairwell. Carl Williams lives in the building.
12 years old, probably coming home from school activities on her way upstairs.
Surprising?
Yeah, it's surprising. Around here, yeah.
The 12-year-old victim is hospitalized in stable condition. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in East Williamsburg.
And a Bronx man arrested as a suspect in connection with the kidnap and rape of a girl, 15. Arrested William Cradle, 24 of Hughes Avenue in the Bronx in connection with the Tuesday attack. Investigators say the suspect is out on bail for similar incidents, allegedly meeting the victim from New Jersey online, then holding her against her will, sexually attacking her repeatedly, say investigators, in his Bronx apartment, holding her for nearly 24 hours. Among numerous charges, rape, unlawful imprisonment, sexual abuse. After a major bust, authorities say there was enough fentanyl recovered to kill 1.5 million in Suffolk County.
Suffolk County DA Ray Tierney says the 6 people are accused of having a fentanyl operation, including having fentanyl pills and illegal weapons.
We will not tolerate predators, no matter where they're operating, come into Suffolk County and peddle this poison.
He says also seized heroin and cocaine.
The message here, if you deal in these deadly poisons, we, along with our partners, will come and we will hold you responsible.
The DA says every kilogram of fentanyl represents 500,000 potential overdose deaths. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on Long Island.
Cornell agreeing to a settlement with the White House.
The university has agreed to pay $60 million and accept the administration's views on civil rights laws. In exchange, the Trump administration will restore more than $250 million in research funding to the university. Cornell's president says the agreement upholds the university's academic freedom. The administration has been pressuring other top universities over pro-Palestinian student protests, as well as policies designed to increase diversity, equity, and inclusion on campus. Several other universities have not agreed to settlements with the administration.
Linda Kenyon. The nation's highest court considering an appeal of gay marriage.
In a closed-door session, justices are debating taking up a case challenging same-sex marriage. The appeal is from a former Kentucky court clerk who refused to issue a marriage license to a gay couple in 2015. She said it violated her religious beliefs. They sued, and now she's appealed to the high court to try to get the lower court ruling overturned. The justices could say whether they'll hear the case as early as Monday.
That report from Stacey Lynn. Some consider this, however, a long-shot effort. Today, the president met with Hungary's authoritarian prime minister to talk about Hungary's buying of Russian oil. The president signaling he would give Orban's country an exemption from the sanction.
President Trump wouldn't commit Friday during his meeting with Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban to giving Hungary an exemption from sanctions the U.S. is putting on countries that purchase Russian oil.
We're looking at it because it's very difficult for him to get the oil and gas from
other areas. As you know, they don't have the advantage of having sea. It's a great country. It's a big country, but they don't have sea. They don't have the ports.
The Trump administration has tried to use those sanctions to put pressure on Russia and get Vladimir Putin to the negotiating table to end the war in Ukraine. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Another nation moves ahead, banning social media for kids.
The Danish government announced a plan today which would ban kids under the age of 15 from using certain social media platforms, although they did not say which ones or how they'd enforce the ban. Parents would be able to grant access for their children, but they'd have to take an assessment first. Australia made a similar move last year, becoming the first country in the world to ban social media for kids.
Correspondent Jen Clark. Protesters in Paris disrupting a concert by the Israeli Philharmonic with several arrests. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators throwing flares, causing crowd panic. Musicians left the stage. At this point, no word of any injuries. The Grammy nods making beautiful music and history. We will tell you about that. But first, let's get you where you need to go with Kelly Dillon.
In the Bronx, a bumper-to-bumper on the westbound Bruckner into the Bronx River Parkway with a crash, knocking out the right lane. The eastbound side at East Tremont Avenue, an accident has been cleared, so delays eastbound starting to ease up. Northbound Deegan, a bumper-to-bumper as well into 138th Street with right lane construction. In Queens, a new crash on the southbound Cross Island Parkway approaching. Looks like right past the Grand Central. This one is closing at least a lane. Traffic is quickly backing up through the LIE. The southbound Van Wyck into Atlantic Ave, a stalled car in the right lane, backing up traffic through the Kew Gardens interchange. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The Bronx-bound Throgs Neck at a standstill on the Queens side now, with construction closing one lane. The Whitestone Bridge, it is better. A bit slow on the inbound Brooklyn Bridge. Outbound George Upper Deck down to a 15 to 20 minute backup. Inbound, luckily, it is quiet. We're looking all right again both ways at the Lincoln and Holland tunnels. And we've got numerous cancellations at LaGuardia, at JFK, and Newark airports tonight. Check your airline app for the latest info. Kelly Dillon, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check of the AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Matt Benz.
Out the door for tonight, breezy early, otherwise a few showers for the overnight, cloudy, low 54. Plenty of clouds to start the day tomorrow with a shower or two, but that will give way to some sunshine by the midday and afternoon. Nice second half of the day with a high 64. Becoming cloudy once again for tomorrow night, low of 50. Those clouds will bring rain and drizzle to the area for Sunday, making for a damp day, especially midday through the afternoon with a high 61. Perhaps a lingering shower early Monday, especially east of the city, otherwise breezy and much colder. Clouds breaking for some sun with a high near 50 degrees. Even colder as we head into Tuesday with highs in the 40s. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Matt Benz on New York's weather station, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Long stretch of laughs in the city with the 21st Annual New York Comedy Festival kicking off today. It features a diverse array of acts. Caroline Hirsch, founder of New York Comedy Festival. Caroline's on Broadway. Tells 1010 wins.
We have everything. I mean, we're covering, everything from the global headliners to the rising new voices in comedy. So there's a little bit of something for everyone there. And it really stretches out for 10 days, starting up Friday night and going through the next Sunday.
Venues include Carnegie Hall, Madison Square Garden, Beacon Theater to Town Hall. Now, Bloomberg Money Watch.
Salad chain Sweetgreen stock is at a record low after cutting its full-year outlook due to third-quarter results worsened, with same-store sales falling 9.5%, well above analyst estimates. Sweetgreen shares fell 7.5% just today. Shares of fast food giant Wendy's gained close to 2% after the company reported a sales decline, but less than expected. Markets rallied to end the week mixed after an earlier slide today, with the Dow gaining 75 points, the Nasdaq losing 49 points, while the S&P 500 ended up 8.5 points. I'm Dan Schwartzman. Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
1010 wins.
They know what's going on.
It's quick. It's reliable.
They're always on top of breaking news. 1010 wins.
All news, all the time.
On 92.3 FM.
WINS, WINS FM and HD1 New York.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
More people get their news from 1010 Wins and from any other radio station in the nation. Sweet Tina Kakar, editor's desk. I'm Mario Bosquez.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York.
Good evening, 57 degrees. It's cloudy at 9 o'clock. I'm Paul Murnane. Here's what's happening. The snap fight heading to the Supreme Court tonight as the White House seeks to block November food payments. The Democrats offer to cut a deal, meeting with signs that things are still going nowhere. Travelers shrugging at all the flight cancellations now.
It's just a game back and forth of holding out who's going to get their way.
The Trump plan to send in the National Guard getting a red light for good tonight in Portland. Police are hunting the attacker who raped a 12-year-old in East Williamsburg. The swing at Yankee Stadium this weekend has nothing to do with a Judgian blast off the bat. It's a golfer's paradise. We'll hear from Juliet Papa. Nets hosting the Piston right now. The Islanders, well, they're hosting the Wild tonight. And trailing, the Rangers are in Detroit. Breezy with some showers later on, heading down to 54. Some showers really to dodge right through the weekend. The weekend AccuWeather outlook straight ahead as we make our plans. Winds News on 9:01. Let's get you where you need to go tonight. And here's Kelly Dillon.
In Queens, bumper to bumper, southbound of the Cross Island, right past the Grand Central. It's a crash here, closing a lane. Traffic back through the LIE. The Clearview is moving much better. Also, delays continue southbound on the Van Wyck into Atlantic Ave. A stalled car in the right lane, backing up traffic into the Kew Gardens interchange and some northbound rubbernecking delays right back to Linden Boulevard. We're also picking up on the eastbound side of the Belt Parkway into Cross Bay Boulevard. There's word of a crash now closing a lane in this spot. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. In Nassau County, moving all right along the LIE and no trouble to report along the northern or southern state parkways. In the Bronx tonight, the westbound Bruckner has a crash into the Bronx River Parkway, knocking out the right lane. Stop and go delays continue here. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The Bronx-bound Throgs Neck at a standstill tonight on the Queens side. One lane out with construction, better across the Whitestone. Quiet now at the Lincoln and Holland. Outbound George Upper Deck about 10 minutes, and luckily inbound tonight it is quiet at the tolls. Kelly Dillon, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Well, we have developments to report to you tonight on the snap fight, the government shutdown, and the situation at the airports. But first, let's get a quick look at your weekend AccuWeather forecast.
There will still be some showers around for the start of the day tomorrow, but don't fret. Things will begin to dry out by the afternoon with some sunshine returning. Could be our nicest stretch of weather for the weekend with highs into the mid-60s. Sunday, different story. Mainly cloudy. Temperatures still making it up to 60 degrees, but it will be damp with occasional rain and drizzle, especially for the midday and afternoon. And after that, grab the jackets outside of a shower early in the day. Monday, blustery. The high near 50. Even colder Tuesday with highs in the 40s.
That's AccuWeather's Matt Benz back with more details in 10 minutes. 57 degrees, cloudy in the city and heading down to 54. The next stop for the snap fight is the U.S. Supreme Court. If the Trump administration has its way, Attorney General Pam Bondi saying tonight that the court will be asked to halt the order to fully fund November payments during the shutdown. But some states are moving ahead, including New York and New Jersey. Governor Hochul ordering state agencies to fully fund November SNAP payments. 800,000 in New Jersey now have their full November payment.
A federal appeals court is keeping a judge's order in place that will enforce the Trump administration to fully fund SNAP benefits for November, even as this government shutdown drags on. But leading up to this, Vinny Lofredo, the owner of Roman Gourmet in Maplewood, has been giving out free slices and free soda.
If someone comes in and says I have a SNAP card, I just give them a pizza. I don't really get crazy about it. You know what I mean? Pretty much bring the card, they get 2 slices and a soda, and that's it. And everybody's happy.
Lofredo says he's had an influx of donations and will continue to give back if anyone's SNAP card isn't funded.
I've had a lot of people come in, and they're very appreciative.
Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
The government shutdown and the ongoing air traffic control staffing crisis are the ingredients in the recipe for the travel squeeze at U.S. airports. We're learning that more than 1,000 flights were canceled today out of more than 25,000 flights that are scheduled on any typical Friday. And the FAA said reductions at 4% are going to wrap up to 10% of flights by the time we get to next Friday. And the flight cuts are dialing up the pressure on Capitol Hill, too.
On the Senate floor, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer threw out a proposal for ending the shutdown.
Leader Thune just needs to add a clean 1-year extension of the ACA tax credits to the CR.
The counteroffer came as Thune tore into Democrats for objecting to a GOP bill to pay federal workers during the shutdown.
It's all about leverage. That's what they're making it all about.
Schumer says, though, this plan should make Republicans happy.
We do not negotiate health care in the shutdown, as Leader Thune has maintained he wishes.
Stacey Lynn reporting on the story. A federal judge making permanent a ruling that blocks the Trump administration efforts to send National Guard troops into Portland, Oregon. The judge, Karen Immergut, said who's a Trump nominee, by the way, said the administration overstepped its authority in response to anti-ICE demonstrations. The judge rejecting arguments that the protests kept ICE from carrying out enforcement and were not requested, she notes, by the federal officials in charge of the protection of that ICE facility. Federal lawyers had argued during a lawsuit filed over the Guard deployment that they intended to file further appeals. The case involving the use of the National Guard in Illinois is currently before the U.S. Supreme Court. Quick thinking preventing a disaster on a Los Angeles runway. An American Airlines flight to New York and an ITA flight departing to Rome from LAX experienced a close call. The ITA pilot is heard muttering, "Sorry," after an air traffic controller noticed the planes turned toward the American flight a week ago. American confirms this report, says there were 97 on board. ITA says it's reviewing the incident. Nothing so far from the FAA, which is not commenting amid the government shutdown. There's a police search tonight for a rape suspect involving a young victim in East Williamsburg.
Every cop in the city now has a picture of the man wanted in this rape at the Cooper Park houses and are told to be on the lookout.
The person that did it, you turned yourself in. You shouldn't have done that to a 12-year-old.
Sources say he saw her in the building and made a demand that she did not accept before forcing himself on her. It's scary to hear about for Sandri Ramos.
I got my granddaughter, and I live next to that building. I got my grandkids with me, my daughter also.
The 12-year-old girl is hospitalized in stable condition. That picture of the suspect shows him at a nearby laundromat. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in East Williamsburg.
The arrest of a man charged with kidnapping and sexual abuse, raising police questions on whether other victims of the suspect may be out there. William Creedle is charged with holding and raping a 15-year-old girl in his Bronx apartment. The girl's parents helped police rescue the victim by tracing her tablet computer to the alleged crime scene. Police say that Creedle has been arrested before on similar charges. They're asking for other victims to call the NYPD Sex Crimes Hotline if they're out there at 212-267-7273, 267-7273. A half a dozen suspects have been cuffed in what authorities on Long Island say was a scheme to deliver a deadly dose.
The Suffolk DA says there was enough fentanyl to kill all of the 1.5 million residents in the county. DA Ray Tierney says 6 people arrested.
Miguel Torres' home in Wyandanch, the task force allegedly recovered approximately 3 kilograms of substance that field tested positive for fentanyl and 2,000 fentanyl pills.
He says a number of illegal guns also recovered.
This case is demonstrative of how illicit drugs flow from outside the country, primarily, oftentimes into New York City and then out to Long Island.
The DA says the 6 were also found with cocaine and heroin. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on Long Island.
It's cloudy skies, 58 degrees in Central Park, heading down to 54 overnight with some scattered showers around later on. I'm going to borrow a line here from the legendary John Sterling, and it's another kind of swung on at Yankee Stadium this weekend. Details on that story straight ahead. Always wanted to say that on the radio. Right now at 9:11, we'll get you where you need to go. And here's Kelly Dillon.
Bumper to bumper in Queens, southbound the Cross Island, and right past the Grand Central, a crash. That takes out at least a lane here. Bumper to bumper delays almost back to the LIE. Also, a few trouble spots in Queens right now. The southbound side of the Van Wyck into Atlantic Ave. A stalled car stuck in the right lane, backing up traffic through the Kew Gardens interchange. Then farther south, we've got a new problem spot at Rockaway Boulevard. It's a new crash here, closing a lane with delays back to Linden Boulevard. Another trouble spot in Queens, quite busy in Queens right now. The eastbound belt into Cross Bay Boulevard. An accident here knocks out at least one lane. Some new trouble popping up in Brooklyn on the inbound Gowanus at the Prospect with an accident backing up traffic through 38th Street. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. You're at a standstill on the Bronx-bound Throgs Neck on the Queens side with a lane of road work. The Whitestone Bridge, much better. Quite slow on the inbound Brooklyn Bridge now. And into Brooklyn, luckily, delays there have cleared out. We've got numerous cancellations tonight at LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark Airport. So do check your airline app for the latest info. Kelly Dillon, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
All right, as we make our weekend plan, listen up. Here's your AccuWeather forecast now with our meteorologist, Matt Benz.
For tonight, breezy early on, otherwise cloudy with a few showers for the overnight, low 54. Tomorrow, clouds and a shower or two early on. That will give way to some sunshine and what should be a nice afternoon with a high of 64. For tomorrow night, turning out cloudy, low 50. Then for Sunday, mainly cloudy. Damp with occasional rain and drizzle, especially for the midday and afternoon, high 61. A shower around early Monday, but it's all about the cool down coming our direction for early next week. Breezy and colder for Monday as clouds break for some sun, a high near 50. Temperatures just stuck in the 40s as we head into Tuesday. Hi, Mackie, weather meteorologist.